Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to be doing a ranking video again. I know it's been quite some time since I did a video, especially a ranking video. This video I'm going to be ranking Ozzy Osbourne's studio albums. Now I'm only doing the studio albums, no live albums, no EPs, not the box set, not Undercover, nothing by Black Sabbath, not the Osbourne Comet, nothing but the studio albums. I get a lot of comments on my ranking videos. Oh, you forgot this album or that album, but they're mentioning the live album. Like when I did the Kiss video, a lot of people said you missed Killers. Well, Killers has a couple, new tracks at the time, studio tracks, but it's a compilation. If I include Killers, that means I would include Alive too, because the fourth side of Alive 2 is studio. So this is just strictly studio albums. The whole album is a studio album. All right, and again, this starts from Ozzy's first album to his most recent album, all included. And again, like most of these videos I do, I'm a fan of all these albums. None of them are terrible. If they were terrible, I probably wouldn't own them, or maybe I would. But I'm gonna get right into it. Coming in last for me, this is Scream by Ozzy. This is 2010 release. When it came out, I don't know. I just never really got into it. Let Me Hear You Scream and Let It Die are probably the only two tracks off this album that I'm okay with. But overall, the album wasn't that good for me. It features Gus G on guitar. The first album Ozzy did since No Rest for the Wicked, which did include Zakk Wylde on guitar. And I don't know, maybe it shows about his songwriting also. Next up, this is 2005. I'm sorry, 2007. This is Black Rain. This is the last album to feature Zakk Wylde on guitar. And again, just like Scream, the first two tracks, I Don't Want to Stop and Not Going Away, are probably the best two tracks for me on this album, but it just doesn't keep my attention. Overall cool album cover, all that, but yeah, it just didn't keep my attention. But I do like that Ozzy was still putting out new material that late in his career. Next up is the release from this year. His, I don't want to say his final studio album because there's talks that Ozzy is actually in the studio now recording another album which is half finished. This is an Ordinary Men. Ordinarily Men. So yeah, this got a bad rap. A lot of people don't like it. The reason I put this above Scream and Black Rain is because there are two decent tracks in there which I really like. Under the Graveyard. When that song first came out, I really liked it, and I thought the video is really, really cool. The video kind of shows the, there's actors portraying them, but it shows that period of transition from when he was fired from Black Sabbath or quit, however you look at it, and before Sharon found him and jump-started his solo career, where he spent all those days in the hotel with the cocaine and the Jack Daniels and all that. Also, the opening track, Straight to Hell, is pretty decent. I like that. But the last two tracks have like the modern day rappers on there, Post Malone and I guess Travis Scott is a rapper. I don't know, but they're just not good tracks. And I mean, besides those two songs, I kind of just wish they weren't on the album. I don't know why Ozzy would do some things with rappers. Also, the title track, Ordinary Man, features Elton John, which is kind of weird. I'm an Elton John fan. I do like Elton John. Obviously, he's a legend, but just not. He shouldn't collaborate with Ozzy. It's just, I don't know. Just wasn't feeling it. Next up, one of my favorite albums when I was younger. This is Osmosis. Great tracks on here. Perry Mason was awesome. Just Want You's great. See You on the Other Side was one of my favorite songs growing up. Old LA Tonight is pretty cool. Yeah, just a really good album. And this was again, Ozzy wanted to retire after this. They did the first Ozfest behind this album. And really overall decent stuff, but a little more tame for Ozzy. Not as heavy as his previous albums. Next up was the follow-up to Osmosis. This is Down to Earth. This was kind of released in the heyday of Ozfest and the nu metal. And a really good album, really heavy album. I prefer this over Osmosis. I just feel like it's more upbeat. It's heavier. Of course, Gets Me Through was the big hit off here. Also was Dreamer was kind of his ballad. Probably his first ballad hit since, well, Mom, I'm Coming Home was kind of a ballad, but Goodbye to Romance, I think it's more in the lines of that. No Way Out's decent, That I Never Had. Junkie, it's great. Black Illusion. Yeah, just a good album. And like I said, it came out in the heyday, 2001 of Ozfest, and right in the middle of new metal when it was huge. And Ozzy stood his ground. Next, we have No Rest for the Wicked. First album to feature Zakk Wylde on guitar. Really decent album. Last album Ozzy would put out in the 80s. Miracle Man is on here, is great. Devil's Daughter, Crazy Babies is the hit off of here. Breaking All the Rules, another hit. Yeah, this whole album is decent. And this is the remaster, 2002 remasters. It also features 2 bonus tracks on here, The Liar and the live version of Miracle Man. Next we have The Ultimate Sin. Very underrated album, I think. I've always loved the cover art. Probably my favorite cover art off any Ozzy album. Featuring Jakey Lee. Obviously The Ultimate Sin, the title track, and the big hit off here, Shot in the Dark. Secret Loser's cool. Never Know Why is great. Lightning Strikes. Killer Giants is okay. Kind of grew on me over the years, but this was never remastered in 2002. This is a 1995 remaster. For those of you wondering, what I did was, here's the original cover. So I basically just folded it over where it has the new cover, and these 1995 remasters do that. Just because I love the cover art so much, and I don't know, I just never liked that little square that they put on the 95 remasters. Next up, Ozzy's big album of the 90s, first album of the 90s, No More Tears, featuring Zakk Wylde's sophomore album with Ozzy. Mr. Tinker Train is so cool. I love the way it just ends like someone paused the album or something like that. I Don't Want to Change the World was a cool single from that. Of course, everyone knows Mom, I'm Coming Home. Desire, No More Tears, S.I.N. Hellraiser, Time After Time is great. Zombie Stomp is great. Road to Nowhere is great. And the 2 bonus tracks on here are really good also. Again, this is the remaster from 2002. 2 bonus tracks, Don't Blame Me and Party with the Animals. This also features writing with Lemmy from Motorhead, who also covered Hellraiser, but Ozzy did it first. And Motorhead's version of Hellraiser is actually featured in Hellraiser 3 on the closing credits. So yeah, really good album. Of course, has Mike Inez on bass, who would later go on to be in Alice in Chains, replace Mike Starr, and Randy Castillo on drums. Rest in peace. Next, we have Jakey Lee's debut, Bark at the Moon. Now, Jakey Lee replaced a Randy Rhoads who, you know, sadly died in a plane crash, and those are huge shoes to fill, especially when you're, you know, playing guitar behind one of the biggest heavy metal icons of all time. Bark at the Moon obviously features the title track. You're No Different's great. Now You See It, Now You Don't. Amazing song. Rock and Roll Rebel, Center of Eternity, So Tired, Slow Down, and it ends with Waiting for Darkness, which is insane. Such a great song. Yeah, Jakey Lee, one of my favorite guitarists. Just amazing work, and sucks he kind of gets shunned from this album. Doesn't get any writing credits, although I do believe he did write Bark at the Moon and the majority of this album. Next up, down to the final 2. You obviously figured them out. Blizzard of Oz, Ozzy's debut album. Obviously the debut of Randy Rhoads also. Randy Rhoads, who was previously in Quiet Riot, auditioned for Ozzy, got the gig, and in my opinion, he's the greatest guitarist of all time, and he was taken from us way too early. Just amazing album. Obviously, we all know this, I think. I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, the acoustic instrumental by Randy. Suicide Solution, which is actually written about the death of Bon Scott. Mr. Crowley, probably my favorite work by Randy, especially the solo during that. And I love that video that you can find on YouTube. No Bone Movies, Revelation, Mother Earth, Steal Away the Night. And I also always love the bonus tracks on here. One of my favorite Ozzy songs, You Looking at Me, Looking at You. And this is the 2011 remaster, which has you know, Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake back on there. For some reason, it was you know, legal battles, money reasons, but the 2002 remaster of this and Die the Madman had Daisley and Kerslake's tracks re-recorded by Robert Trujillo and Mike Borden, who was in Ozzy's band at the time. But yeah, this is the remaster from 2010. I'm sorry, 2011, and the original album. All the original members remastered on there. The other two bonus tracks on here are "Goodbye to Romance," which is just guitar and vocals, and an instrumental called "RR," obviously Randy Rhoads, which is just Randy just blazing away on the guitar. Cool picture there of Ozzy in the insert. Alright, last, definitely not least, my favorite album by Ozzy. This is Diary of a Madman. The second album by Ozzy. Second album, obviously, for Randy Rhoads. Over the Mountain, when that just kicks in to start this album, just amazing. Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer, Little Dolls, Tonight, Sato, Diary of a Madman. Amazing album. Diary of a Madman is just insane. It's probably behind Mr. Crowley, my favorite work by Randy Rhoads, and you know, cool artwork. As far as a little glare there. Yeah, I mean, it's just a flawless album. It's just great. And obviously, they didn't really get to play much of this album live because this is the tour where unfortunately Randy Rhoads died during a plane crash, and Lee Kerslake and Bob Daisley were replaced by Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldridge on bass and drums. And if you pick up the there's a Rudy Sarzo book. It's called Off the Rails, which basically is a tribute to Randy Rhoads and pretty much chronicles the tour behind this album, leading into Bark the Moon. So if you ever find that book, definitely read it. It's really cool. All right, real quick, I'm just going to go recap my favorite. Coming at number 1, Diary of a Madman. Number 2, Blizzard of Oz. Number 3, Bark at the Moon. Number 4, No More Tears. Number 5, The Ultimate Sin. 6, No Rest for the Wicked. 7, Down to Earth. 8 is Osmosis. 9, Ordinary Man. 10, Black Rain. And 11, Scream. And again, this is just my opinion of how I rank Ozzy's albums. I'd like to hear your ranking in the comments. And like I said, it's only the studio albums. No live stuff, no Sabbath stuff, no EPs, no tribute, nothing like that. And yeah, so like I mentioned earlier in the video, Ozzy is rumored to be in the studio right now, has an album halfway finished, which harkens back to his early days, his 80s days. So kind of curious to hear that, especially with Ozzy's age, and I just love it that he's still working. He still sounds great in concert. Yeah, so that's it with Ozzy. Speaking of Ozzy, I'd like to do a Black Sabbath ranking video maybe later this week or next week, and I want to even start making more videos. Everybody, thanks for watching. 2020 is coming to an end, so 2021 is coming up. If you like this video, subscribe. If you don't like the video, don't subscribe. I don't care. No, I care. Thanks for watching. And also, I always mention my Instagram, at Gary Elysiums. I put a lot of my stuff up there also, my collection. So, yeah, check it out if you'd like to. And, oh, I also have a lot of stuff, Ozzy stuff, on vinyl, but I don't have everything on vinyl, which is why I did all CDs. But, yeah, I do have a lot of stuff on vinyl. And speaking of Ozzy, one of the greatest live albums of all time, Speak of the Devil. Great, great album. One of the greatest rhythm sections ever recorded, but that's a live one, so I'm going to save that. And I also want to do a live ranking of some, or a ranking of some of my live videos. And, sorry, my mouth's a little dry. I have a little problem talking. So I'm just going to end it here. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe.